It's Clinician's Corner with Dan Cajigas. Here's Dan.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Clinician's Corner. I want to give out our telephone number for one very important reason. 855-272-7220. 855-272-7220. That is the number to call to be one of the first 5 people to get a copy of our guest's book, Cough Cures, the complete guide to the best natural remedies and over-the-counter drugs for acute and chronic coughs. So, Dr. Gustavo Ferrer is with us today. He's an experienced pulmonologist, trained both in Cuba and the U.S. founder of the Cleveland Clinic Florida Cough Center, and the president of the Intensive Care Experts based in Western Florida, which is an authority on respiratory ailments with more than 20 years of experience. Dr. Ferrer grew up in a culture that effectively utilized herbal teas and folk remedies for coughs and colds, and in his new book, Cough Cures, the best natural remedies and over-the-counter drugs for acute and chronic cough, challenges our Western mindset that often over-medicates. Dr. Ferrer offers a blend of Western and natural remedies to effectively address both acute and chronic respiratory issues. Dr. Ferrer, welcome to Clinician's Corner.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, Dr. Ferrer, you studied medicine in Cuba. So my first question is, how did you wind up in the United States as a specialist for respiratory ailments?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Well, I was born in Cuba and raised in Cuba, studied medicine in Cuba, and I was trained as a pulmonologist in Cuba. And in 1997, I was hired by the United Nations to lead a group of researchers in respiratory investigation research at the Orinoco in the jungles of Venezuela. I spent a couple of years there and then came to the States. And went for, took the test that you have to take, and went for training in medicine at Texas Tech, and from there to George Washington University, and from George Washington University to the Cleveland Clinic.
So as someone who has studied and practiced medicine in foreign countries, what is something that strikes you as problematic with American medicine?
I always loved the Western medicine mindset of doing research and trying to find specific cause and so on. But when I came to America, I was struck by the idea that we tend to over-medicate. Every time I saw a patient in my outpatient or in the hospital, and I saw that they were taking, 10, 15 drugs, and many times the patient did not understand what they were taking and what are the side effects and so on. That actually was one of the first things that triggers my curiosity to go after, blending ways to minimize the overuse of medications.
Well, it's funny, and just before you came on for the interview, we were talking current events and news as it relates to health. And, it's hard to not sidestep everything that's gone on with the presidential election and the future of the Affordable Care Act here in the United States and the state of health care as a whole, whether or not you utilize the Affordable Care Act. And I said, and I wish I should have brought you on earlier, I said that I believe that the future of our healthcare system rests in education and prevention, not in treatment. That's the way we're going to cut the budget. That's the way we're going to save people's lives. That's the way we're going to add longevity. And the use of some of the remedies that you talked about in your book are just the beginning. And I think you really have a fantastic guide here with your book, Cough Cures. And I think that it really is that part of the reason why you wrote Cough Cures? Or, tell us more about the decision that came to bring you to such a large undertaking of a project.
That's absolutely right. Great question. Great question. I did, in my first 2 chapters of the book, I laid out the whole idea, just exactly what you said. And I want to make this clear to you listening. We haven't spoken. We haven't talked about this. The whole notion that giving more medications or bringing more doctors to the system is gonna fix our problems today is really far from reality. We're going to fix our problem by educating our people and by increasing prevention. I'm coming from Cuba, which is a small island with a fraction of the budget that we swallowed in probably in 100 patients that Cuba uses for their 11 million people. And what they have done is invest a lot in prevention and education and blending the system. I'm Cuban and I do have these agreements with the government, but I cannot, I cannot recognize the great things that they have done by bringing those together and educating the public. I do believe that's the core of what we do. Much of my writing and blogs goes along those lines. I'm a firm believer of educating and teaching our patients population to understand how to handle their own issues. For way too long, we have spoon-fed our patients of the things that they should do without teaching them what they should do and how to help each other.
Well, your book, Cough Cures, delves into the topic of what people can do to help themselves with more natural remedies. So what are some of the things that people can do at home to find relief from cold and flu symptoms?
Well, this is a great question. We got in detail that in the book, but we line up, the dangers of some of the over-the-counters, and we highlight good alternatives. There is one on the ginger is fantastic for cough. We combine that with other herbs, and we use, effectively some of the natural over-the-counter remedies that we have. We recommend a nasal spray called xylitol. It's called Clear, which is a combination of saline and xylitol, which is highly, highly effective. We also mention in our books all the evidence behind actually chicken soup and initial symptoms of colds and flu. We mention in our books all the evidence behind garlic and many other natural herbs and remedies that we have available over the counter. And we also point out toward those that have been used that they are not as effective as we think.
Now, Doctor, I have a question. You recommended a product, Clear Nasal Spray. What is it about Clear that you like, and how does it work for your patients?
Clear is a combination of saline and xylitol, and is available over the counter. For many years, my colleague and I, we used saline, and the issue that I found with just saline alone is salty water, and usually tend to burn people's nose after using for a while. So the xylitol tend to, which is a natural product combined with the saline, and the Clear nasal spray tend to bring the pH back to normal, and so allowing or decreasing the probability of burning. But xylitol has many other effects that have research proven their success. It is an antibacterial. Viruses can be actually attacked by this, and it helps, remove the mucus that we sometimes get in the nostrils and in nasal passages, which are one of the most common reasons for actually chronic cough, which is the postnasal drip. So it's a fantastic nasal spray for acute and for chronic cough.
Yeah, the good folks at Clear have been very generous over the years with us for patient education seminars, taking most of their media team to various conferences around the country. And I attended a conference at the American Association of Oral and Systemic Health last year and the year before that, and we learned, and it was not by anything else except luck that I paid attention, and I heard them mention as part of their natural treatment protocol the use of xylitol products because it works. And these were doctors who were not there presenting information specifically on Clear or xylitol. They were presenting information to other doctors that are in the ENT category of health and also dental. And they talked about the use of Clear, and I said it's such a long way from where I started in this business 20 years ago. that supplements now are being recommended by mainstream medicine as part of a natural alternative and preventative before going to some of the OTC and prescription drugs. So it really is a testament to the practice that you have and the care that your patients get and what the company has done with such a fantastic product. Can you share, your book shares some important information, a lot of people are giving it great reviews. Who do you hope reads Cough Cures, and what do you hope it accomplishes? Because it covers so many more things. It talks about why antibiotics don't work for most colds and coughs, when and how to treat something safely at home, how to save time and money treating coughs, colds, and flus, how to communicate better with your doctor, how to avoid unnecessary x-rays, and then, of course, the natural treatments for coughs, insomnia, acid reflux, flu, colds, and pain relief. I mean, who do you want this book to be read by? It sounds like to me, everybody. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. You're not. But, you know, when we wrote the book for lay people, and it's written with true stories, real-life stories that we have, patients that we have treated along more than 20 years. And what we want to try to reach primarily is those people that go to over-the-counters and they get either natural products or the OTCs. And so we wrote it targeting mothers and targeting the people that tend to buy this. You know, America last year, 2016, we spent just on respiratory over-the-counter, we spent $7.7 billion cash. So, and we had tons of evidence, research evidence, stating that most of these over-the-counters OTCs, that they don't work. So we want to teach people to be better consumers of healthcare and to be prepared for the whole constellation of things that they come along with cough. Because when people have cough, they cannot sleep, and they go to the pharmacy and they buy something for sleep. That's the reason we talk about that. We have cough and people get fever, so we talk about what happens with fever, muscle pains, and how to get educated of the whole constellation that comes along with cough.
Well, your book is very comprehensive, and you've made a very generous offer. So I want to give our listeners a telephone number again. It's 855-272-7220 is the number to my office. You can leave your name and address with us, and the first 5 calls will get a free copy of your book, Cough Cures. If you're not so lucky to get on the line and be one of the first 5 callers, your book is available on Amazon.com, and again, it's Cough Cures by Gustavo Ferrer, F-E-R-R-E-R is your name. You have a wonderful website that is, I had it here somewhere, GustavoFerrerMD.com. And while reading that, I found out that you've been featured as a medical expert in USA Today, the Miami Herald, NBC News, CNN in Spanish, Radio Caracol in Miami, and you've been on many Latin American national newspapers in El Salvador and Honduras, and you were also voted one of the best doctors in the U.S. by U.S. News and World Report. So your resume is quite extensive, and it's to your credit that you found time to write a book, make it available to people who can't come see you in their everyday practice, and to talk about natural products like Clear and Xylitol that really are practicing what you're preaching and actually allowing patients to utilize that. So, Doc, what I'd like to ask you is, what are some of the things that you'd like in a very somebody just tuning in? Right off the bat, what are some of the things, before they even get your book, that they should consider as a natural, not only cough cure, but preventative? All too often we hear people that are constantly clearing their throat. I even hear it in some people who are on the radio. What are some natural things that people can go out and do to have a healthy sinus cavity, to have a healthy oral bacteria? What can we do?
Well, we spoke about this, and I use it every day. I go around the country speaking, and I see this all the time. And the more I write and read about this, the more aware I come of seeing people coughing and having this, clearing the throat, which is nothing more than post-nasal drip. And it's something that is not going to go away because we're in air conditioning. We are in places where the air has either is drier because we have removed stuff from the air with the air conditioner. We're flying in an airplane. I use and I recommend all the time the nasal spray that we mentioned before, the xylitol. We definitely talks about some other supplements and vitamins that they are important to take, as a preventive that they can and they will protect your oropharyngeal mucosa, the mouth and the nose passages. But I do use and always recommend the xylitol combined with saline because it can clear the mucus that is dripping behind the throat and getting into the vocal cords and getting this sensation of clearing the throat followed by cough. So we usually recommend that. In my hometown back in Cuba, which unfortunately is not available this era in Cuba, we use a very specific type of sage, which is also highly effective. But by far, we always go with the xylitol because it's widely available and it's easy to use.
Well, Clear sinus and nasal products are available at Vitamin Shop, Whole Foods, Sprouts, and other fine health retailers nationwide. And now they're even more mainstream with availability at Target, CVS, and Rite Aid. And if you live somewhere where you can't find the Clear products, you can always visit xlear.com. That's xlear, clear.com, for a list of retailers in your area to find the Clear product line. There are so many fantastic products. They have now multiple flavors, and it's not just for cold and cough. It's for brushing your teeth. It's a mouth rinse, the sinus nasal spray, oral irrigators. There's so many different things now that they have that really complete the line. So, Doc, I want to thank you, first of all, for coming on here in New York to Clinician's Corner and being a guest on my show. I want to thank you for your very generous offer of the 5 books free for our first 5 listeners. They can take advantage of that at 855-272-7220. That's our number, 855-272-7220. And I want to let our listeners know that your book, Cough Cures, The Complete Guide to the Best Natural Remedies and Over-the-Counter Drugs for Acute and Chronic Coughs, is available on Amazon.com. And if people want to check you out, they can do that at Gustavo Ferrer, Ferrer, MD.com. And, Doc, do you have anything else you want to add to my New York audience here?
I want to thank you for having me in the show, and I hope that we can see each other soon. And I hope our readers go and get the book because they're going to benefit tremendously. Thank you very much.
All right. The book is available on Amazon.com. If you give our office a call, 855-272-7220, you can get a free copy of it. I want to remind everyone again that this great interview was brought to us by the good folks at Clear Sinus and Nasal Products, and they're available at Vitamin Shop, Whole Foods, Sprouts, and other fine retailers nationwide, as well as Target, CVS, and Rite Aid. And for a complete list of retailers, you can visit xlear.com. Dr. Ferrer, thank you so much, and we hope to have you on again sometime soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye now. This is Clinician's Corner, and we are here every Saturday from 3 to 4. Give us a call, 855-272-7220. I'm going to tweet out Dr. Ferrer's book, so you can follow us at CSC Newsfeed. You can friend us on Facebook, Clinicians Supplement Consultants, and you can get Clear Sinus and Nasal products at Vitamin Shop, Whole Foods, Sprouts, and other fine health retailers nationwide, as well as Target, CVS, and Rite Aid. This is Clinician's Corner, and we will be